After a bit of practice on my main, I felt ready to start doing ED2. ED2 is generally considered the easiest of the elite dungeons, and I would put its difficulty around the same level as Araxor. The fun thing about elite dungeons is that it's not just a single boss that you fight, but instead, a dungeon that you go through with 3 different bosses in it. The main drops that we're looking for from this dungeon are the melee ability codexes. There's different ones that drop from each of the bosses, each which unlock an upgraded version of some melee abilities. These upgraded abilities are very powerful, especially Greater Barge, and will be fantastic for us to unlock. The first boss here is Astalarn, who isn't particularly tough, but does have a lot of RNG-based mechanics that can be pretty painful to deal with at times. It's a pretty quick fight through, and isn't much of a problem. After going through more of the dungeon, we arrive at Varak Lith. This is a pretty straightforward boss that has a couple simple mechanics and a whole bunch of health. Once you get the hang of his mechanics, it's pretty easy to just soul split flick and resonance the pillars to keep your health up throughout the fight. Continuing on through the dungeon, we eventually make our way to the Blackstone Dragon. This is definitely my favorite fight from this dungeon, and is also probably the toughest. I think the main reason I find it fun is it's more challenging to soul split flick at, but feels really awesome when you do get the hang of it. The main thing to really watch out for here is the blue fire that gets spawned during a few parts of the fight. If caught in it, this can kill you extremely fast, so it's best to be very cautious of it. Alright, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna sun, and then we're just gonna annihilate him. Alright, here we go. Time to die. What should we kill here? There we go. Cool. We did it. Woo! Another new boss I started working on was the Kalphite King. This is the boss that drops Trigor weapons, tier 90 dual-wield melee weapons. This boss is pretty old and has some janky mechanics to it, but it isn't too bad if you know what you're doing. It can be pretty dangerous during mage phase when all the bombs are coming out, since they do a lot of damage and you can get stunned as well. Ow, what the heck was that? I like to just do my best to avoid the bombs and throw up an anticipate if I can to avoid getting stunned. As a hardcore, I wouldn't suggest being the one who evokes the boss to deal with the green, unless you're very experienced at dealing with it, because one wrong play and it can deal an instant kill to you. Unfortunately, I didn't get lucky with any Dragors this time, so we'll have to do some more again in the future. Yay! What do we got? Did I get anything? No. I went ahead and completed a couple more quests, starting with Cabin Fever, a quick little quest that awards a bit of smithing, crafting, and agility XP when complete. Then I went ahead and did Edgar's Ruse. There's a part near the end where you need to gather some goat weed by avoiding detection from the guards. This can be a pretty annoying section, but if you do what I did here, it makes it pretty easy. It's also worth grabbing a second one since you'll need it for another quest later on. After doing a whole bunch of clue scrolls, I finally had enough fortunate components to make my first alchemical item. Since I do a lot of bossing, I decided to use it on making my first Essence of Finality amulet. The EOF is the strongest amulet in the game at the moment and combines the effects of the Amulet of Souls and the Reaper necklace. The main reason this amulet is good is because you can have it consume a weapon to gain its special attack, allowing you to use a lower tier weapon special attack with the damage of a higher tier weapon. I'm going to be using this one with my Guthix staff, which will go very nicely with our Noxious staff. A little while later, while doing my daily Rax kills, something very unfortunate happened. And with that, we've lost our first life on the account. It's pretty sad to see it happen through a disconnection, but unfortunately, things like this can happen and there's not really much you can do about it. Luckily, I always keep Protect item on just in case something like this happens, so I was able to save an additional item. I ended up losing a Malevolent Shield, helmet, and legs, my Bandos boots, and my melee kiln cape. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. I had the energies ready to replace the Malevolent legs, and also had a spare shield. Then for now, I replaced my helmet with an Elder Rune one, and just used the 99 cape for my cape slot. At this point, we have 2 lives remaining before we lose hardcore status, and hopefully we don't lose any more to disconnects. After a bit of work, I was really close to 96 summoning, and used some of my penguin points to get the last bit of XP towards it. 96 summoning is pretty significant, since it now allows us to make the Pack Yak Beast of Burden, which can hold an additional 30 items. It also allows us to make Ripper Demons once we unlock Ancient Summoning as well. And instead of letting the Rack's death keep me down, I decided to get right back into the grind and continue on fighting Racks. We even ended up getting a couple more leg pieces in the process. Alright, here we go. Damage time, go! Go, go, damage, go! Alright, we got some damage on him. Not nearly enough. Oh, Neutron Star. Oh, ooh! One of the next PVM upgrades I wanted to get was a Planet Feet switch. Planet Feet is a very powerful perk that extends the length of your Death Swiftness and Sunshine abilities. You need to use Psyweir and Dragonkin components to make a perk that has both Planet Feet and also Aftershock 1 on it. The Aftershock is just so you don't lose your stacks of Aftershock while switching to your Planet Feet switch. Since I didn't have a lot of these components, I decided that the efficient thing to do would be to get a Sun Spear and put the perk on that since it could be used for both your mage and ranged Planet Feet switches. The Sun Spear is a reward for finishing the Vampire questline, and I only had 2 more of those to complete. There we go. Get that thing out of here. The first one to complete was Lord of Vampirium. This is a very long quest with a handful of encounters throughout it. For most of the quest, you'll be inside Castle Dragon, where you can only bring specific items with you, and will be provided with some food throughout the quest. Dying inside of the castle is a safe death, so you don't need to worry about messing up. You'll battle several Venators that aren't too difficult and are pretty easy to soul split flick against. The main challenge is the battle against Dragon. This is a long and tough fight that has several phases to it and many mechanics. I'd recommend reading up on each of the mechanics on the wiki so you're prepared before going into this fight. Shortly after defeating Dragon, the quest will be completed, awarding a ton of XP in Construction, Slayer, and Hunter, along with 75,000 XP and 3 skills of your choice. The next quest to complete is River of Blood. This is another very long and also potentially dangerous quest. Deaths during the beginning fights are not safe, so you'll need to be careful during those encounters. The first one will be against the Zamorak leader and guard, who each use different styles and also know how to use abilities. They're not too tough though, and shouldn't cause much of a problem. A little later on, you'll have to battle a weird on this short bridge. It has a decent amount of HP and some rather dangerous attacks. The main one to be careful of is his Sonic attack, which you need to be at least 3 tiles away or else you'll take 15,000 melee damage. You can use prayers and defensives against this attack if needed. Near the end, you'll have a final battle against Saphilan while going through many hallucinations. This part of the quest is safe if you die, so you don't need to worry too much at this part. Like the previous quest, give the wiki a quick read before going in so you're aware of the mechanics you'll be encountering. After the battles and finishing the quest, we get a bunch of XP in Herblore, Firemaking, Fletching, and Mining, and 75,000 XP in 3 skills of our choice again, and also our new Sun Spear. Now we can make our Planet Feet perk to add to it. This perk combo is also super easy to make because it has a 100% success rate if you're high enough invention level. This is going to be a fantastic upgrade to our range and mage setups going forward. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to let me know what you thought down in the comments below. I'd also love it for you to come hang out with us on Twitch sometime, under the same name as my YouTube channel, BreaCheese. A link to my stream will be down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.